Ho, 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 everybody. Let's go. Happy Monday. Let's start it here. Shout out quick to everybody that showed up over the weekend. Great session. Really had a great group, sizable audience, and everyone hung in there for about 4 hours. So I did post that. The link is available on the Gold Discord for Gold members, Silver members in those libraries. Do check that out. If you have any questions or you want access to that, contact Miss Stephanie, and I'll let you guys get at least some access to the links. People that show up, bunch more people coming in. Again, great to see everybody. Thanks again for Saturday was just great. Really was. I'm going to go right to something that I actually posted this morning, and it's right out of what we talked about on Saturday. Is one of the kind of the main things we look for or should be looking for as the real triggers, actionable triggers, or the areas that highlight the bigger signals. Let me just show you that. This was 5-minute ES this morning. And we were right at target 1. So I posted that as we were checking back, maybe a little bit after that, but it gave several shots here on a 5-minute. And this is exactly the kind of intraday setup that I think it's the proper time frame if you're looking for intraday setups where both of these reactions were for ES, 10 points and then 8 points high to low. Nice moves, but it did break out and continue higher. I mean, it didn't give us the full. We were looking for this 886 retest at 3965. That would actually have been a really nice type 2. Didn't get there. So what? We'll take a look again. But those kind of intraday, even the reactions, exactly what we want to see. And to refresh the sequence that we walked through and really highlighted on Saturday was the just simple HSI arrow. Now we're looking for a pattern zone, preferably. This one was at a type 1 target, trying to initiate the type 2 return, but HSI that completed right at it was 3982. The pattern number was 3981, 99, 3982. The 5-minute HSI trigger exactly there too. Completed, the signal completed. Then you immediately checked back, and that's really the fire zone off of that. And then I want to throw in just something else that I do look at and mentioned. I think I mentioned this. I hope I mentioned this enough with the 5-minute charts in our session that was lining up what was happening there. And I actually had a bullish pattern off of these initial. The 5-minute zone was here, but then we got a 5-minute, 30-second little short-term time frame, and that's something I look at on intraday levels specifically. 30-second and 5-minute. I mean, it's if I'm really crazy or action's really crazy, I'll look at a 5-second chart. But the 5-minute and 30-second chart, I think those are two really good short-term, longer-term intraday stuff. That I mean, you can look at so many different time frames. I think you need to have a short-term and a long-term for intraday. Those two serve the purpose. Right now, actually, take a look at the 30-second chart. You do have something. I mean, we have almost a perfect type 2 deep crab here on the 30-second chart. 3984 was target 1. Did you get there? I mean, almost. It's perfect type 2. I would want to just see this from what happened on what we talked about Saturday is give us the trigger, the check back, and then 2 bars. 39.94. That gives you the structural zone to be looking for. The 5-minute chart, I wanted to just walk through that sequence one more time. There you go. We got the signal and then the check back, and so 1, 2 bars. We had a bearish HSI signal, and this is specifically with HSI, everybody. So I'm giving you the abbreviated version, but there's a few more things we looked at. Check back 1, 2. But for the 5-minute chart, hey, that gives you a reaction. We want patterns. Okay, I do want patterns. This trying to anticipate a type 2 return didn't happen. Didn't really even have a pattern here. And last 24 hours on the S&P 500 has been interesting because you don't have, it's pretty clear where you have confirmation and where you don't have confirmation is the difference. For the early overnight bullish pattern that materialized last night, perfect confirmation right there. That's what we looked at on the, really spent a lot of time on Saturday going through. Pattern completion, but we know that's just the starting point. There's confirmation. Now what do we look for? And those steps with the check back and the 1 and 2 positive agreement candles, bang. That's the kind of thing we're looking for. If you were, let's say you were trading that overnight. I was not. But it doesn't matter. All the same properties here of the way you treat this are uniform because there's pattern completion but no confirmation. As we said, only a reaction. Then it comes back for the type 2. Where's the confirmation? It blows it out. So a lot of the things that we looked at Saturday were pretty specific. This really earlier today was kind of the first thing I've posted on Twitter that said, hey, 2 bars, intraday swing, 39.82 over the course of what? An hour and a half. That's kind of thing we're looking for. I want to show you 1 or 2 more 5-minute setups that are some of the things we talked about of doing more of like the 5-minute opportunities. Let's look at some things that are happening right now. So here is, I've been watching Meta. Take a look at this. Meta's a Gartley on the 5-minute, but what happened to the HSI early on is that you had a check back confirmation for Meta. All came in here early this morning. 113 up to 114. Nothing really, not totally ideal, but you run right into a bearish HSI. So you're back on hold for something like that. Caterpillar. This is an interesting one where possible type 2 return. Highlight this. That reaction, that 227 from this morning, what was that? Actually, that was, when was that? Hold on, let me get the, there you go. Yeah, that was earlier. Not even an hour. Type 1 reaction over, though. Because, take a look. HSI came in early, but you're not really getting through target 1. Again, that's something we talked about where even if that's a delayed thing, we would still anticipate a return back down. If you come back down here later today, 227, that's where the type 2 would really take shape off of that bat pattern. Caterpillar did that on the bat as well, the bearish bat up here. Look, why wouldn't it? And then right back for the type 2. That, what was that? Friday? Yeah, Friday afternoon, 232. Caterpillar is, let me blow this up. Those are a couple 5-minute patterns. Let me get back to that cat. But there's also a really big weekly situation. There you go. That's today. Here's the weekly pattern for Caterpillar. Crab pattern with HSI that just triggered last week. I think I mentioned this in our session because we ran through a whole bunch of stocks towards the end of Thursday. The big trigger here, 236. Just like the last two times, really. We did get a check back here. You got a check back there. That's a weekly chart. Why not? So keep an eye on that one. I'll go back through that list, or at least most of them, towards the end of today. That's a few of them, though. It's obviously tomorrow is going to be big news event. Played into these. Take a look at, here's a couple more. Take a look at Meta on the 5-minute. Okay. Keep an eye on that for today and even this week. This is what I want to mention, especially with tomorrow's news announcement. If that's going to be a positive thing, you would want to see an intraday pattern like this. Really nice Gartley. It's a perfect type 2. And then in the short term, it's a target to up to 116. So if you're looking for that, I'm saying not there yet. I would still want bullish HSI, but if this holds, we trigger a bullish HSI. That's the kind of pattern that could get the larger bounce into before Christmas, if you will. Because take a look at this chart. Big drop last week, stabilizing. If you don't hold that level, well, you're going to go all the way back down. That's I think it's worth it because there's a lot of things there generating a lot of HSI signals, but that's a perfect type 2. Needs to hold. Much like here, Microsoft. Okay, Microsoft's above 250. Been talking about this for a while. Much above. There you go. Deep crab on a 5-minute. Now this is another one where no confirmation on the initial test, and I would expect this, especially without the confirmation on the initial reaction. Now you have a bullish HSI on the 5-minute. I mean, I'm talking today. You go back 251.54, another point and a half higher, and then see how that shapes up into tomorrow. Microsoft keeps rallying through that pattern, gets above 254. I think you go just default back to the hourly chart, see what's going on here. Been relatively strong. There you go. Clean that up. There you go. One thing about the bat pattern on this, I think we had an hourly and a 4-hour. No, not only a 4-hour, just this hourly time frame. Again, we break above that bat pattern structurally. Everything here at 250, 256 is where the larger recovery could start. As crazy as that is, just even a larger bounce to retest these descending peaks. Target 1 off that ABCD is 256. Above that, 278. Yeah, they had some news today. But larger things like that, things like Meta, okay, um, kind of the bad news from last week, if you will, if you're looking for some kind of positive bullish news. Well, things like Meta just triggered a bearish HSI in a downtrend. And I don't think it's going to take much under the current lows here. You're looking at that. I just showed that 5-minute pattern. This is why it's all so critical, because if it rolls over here, short term, even on the daily, there's not a heck of a lot underneath it like that. The other one is, sorry, let's go over here. Apple. I think Apple is probably going to be the one that leads the way down, back to retest 138 minimum. And I'm talking this week. 138.60 is the XA. I mentioned this Thursday that whatever this next test is, it's going to be the HSI that triggers it. So you're still trending lower until that HSI can trigger an oversold reading. Let me fire through really quick that list of all of those innovators. Like, here's Airbnb. And we'll get these on the radar. Some of these are going to be 3 ideas. Some of them already are. But if you're not aware of kind of the significance of a lot of these 2 of 2 setups, the patterns are there. Most of them just tested last week or testing now, confirming now. Airbnb right there, 91, what's that, 91 and a quarter. And you have stuff like Zoom. And that one did a perfect check back. I think you are bullish close today. How about this? A bullish close and a breakout, a 3-bar breakout above 73.76. What's that mean to anybody? Anybody that was there? That would be pretty significant. Dragging down, doesn't look like much, looks like an ugly zone, but this most recent trigger is worth it. And obviously risk just underneath the low. But that's, Zoom. Of course, Kathy Wood, ARK, and all of her related investments, Let's blow up the zone, take a look. Not completely ideal. I actually wish I had another signal here, but there's probably better opportunities, but somewhere around 34. You could be sitting there and do a pop to 44. Yeah, that would be go time. Yeah, I should put a big G. Go, arrow. PayPal. These are hated names right now. Hated names. People don't want PayPal. People wanted PayPal at 250, 300. This is the check back. We're waiting for it. Triggered last week. Now, we could already be... I didn't probably talk about this 2 in a row stuff with HSI because, look, even if we were going to go off of that as an HSI trigger, it checks back, and then we need 2 green bars. Well, you get 1 green bar, technically, you could be in business or really close to it. So 72.45 that's the measured level. I'd be looking right in there. Real close. Ugly time. I mean, it's not, people do not want these names right now, but look at where they're setting up in a perfect spot. What was the other one? The other one was, check this out, Teladoc. There you go. It's a perfect type 2 deep crab if we can get to 24 bucks. Real close, but we got to get to 24 bucks. Here's something that just came across my desk recently. This AI, C3 AI. Now, where'd it go? Check this out. That's not it. It's a weekly HSI right here, and then I got to check my settings here. Weekly HSI at around 12 bucks. It's trading 13.40. Some speculative AI thing, but do have some patterns down here. Let me add this ABCD back down here. I thought it was interesting. I gotta put. Hold on one second. No, there you go. I've got the old zone lines hidden. Keeps a cleaner chart, but the ABCD is at 12.15. So this is something people are passing around, kind of a super speculative, get on your radar type of thing. It's on my radar. And we've got some HSI down here, and you've got a hop level at 12.15. This kind of stuff could fire up if this does get crazy. Maybe you run back to 22, retest that Gartley. That's how I would look at that. The symbol's AI. Take a look at that. A couple more of those. How about Shopify? Now listen, it has a bearish pattern right now, but we're going kind of back-to-back patterns here. It just completed type 1 of this bat pattern, this bearish bat pattern. You're at 38 bucks. I'm not doing anything with this yet. I would even argue, hey, if this could pop up back to 43, don't be surprised. But it's, trying to, I think, stabilize with expressing some patterns where if we could actually come back down, maybe even form another pattern, this is, in the starting position here after being devastated like this. There you go. And I think this is a monthly shark. Should be a monthly shark. I think it's a monthly shark on the other platform. Here's Shopify. One second. And it's a big pattern where, hey, plenty of time on that, but I don't want to ignore this stuff. I'm thinking, a lot of these that were just massive opportunities, huge opportunities at 100 or 200 are now at 30 bucks. Hold on, I got to fix this. I'm going to pop this. Yeah. Okay. There you go. Shopify. So we have a small bearish pattern we're dealing with right now. Let it go through that. But once it does, this kind of thing can end up being give you a large shot. Somebody asked last week, how do you find the crazy ones that pop from like 20 to 100 in a day? I said, you're probably better off identifying stuff like this longer term, or even stuff like this on a shorter term, 5-minute, that super clear. Once they pop out, I think that's early. Here's another one, Square. They're all the same. They're all deeply oversold, retesting, big support triggers. This one actually, on a weekly level with an HSI, it's obviously a massive 886. But take a look. We'll just walk through the weekly. there's the signal, there's the check back a couple weeks later, 2 months later, and then 1 and 2 bullish candles. So, that affirms this whole general 55 level as something I don't want to ignore. And a lot of these are setting up where they're really close to, once they break out, you could look back and say, oh yeah, there's stuff there. And this was I think on the daily there's crab here. Not really. Couple more. Listen, a lot of them, a lot of the individual innovation stocks, you could go through them and you're going to find tons of patterns. Here's CRISPR Therapeutics. I brought that up last week, and it's, this one is another one where it's like it needs to form like one bullish day. Here you go. Okay, check it out. It's a pretty ugly bat pattern down at the hop's around 52, but the confirmation is, I think we talked about this last week, around 50, and we had one bullish candle, but we were still waiting for one more bullish day. That could be today with yet another HSI signal. So again, let's see that how it's flashing up. That just went off because it's not out of the zone yet. Here, take a look at HSI. Yeah, so all right, you got a secondary signal trying to come out. Again, get your eye on this. I said this last week. It's somewhere around 50 bucks. If it's 49 or if it's 51, it's somewhere in there. That's not really one for options. I think that's more play the stock. But if these start to pop and the Cathie Wood stocks can do something, get through December, maybe. Here's Roblox. Here we go. Bat pattern. Recently, it's still in a type 1, but it looks like trying to hold 32 bucks. And this one did the same kind of sequence on HSI on the daily where maybe this is a go time. I like to play these return situations, and we talked about this over the weekend where there's the type 1 move. We're trying to get back to type 2, and it's not really official until we get the full test of the zone. But now we're sandwiched between 32 and 49. Here's another HSI trigger where on the daily you trigger it, you check it back, and then, about 2 weeks ago you had your second bar. And what have we done since? Hold 32. Is that worth it for a shot down there around 32.80? That this could then pop, go back for that full retest. Maybe to 40, maybe to 49. One thing I would say that you haven't really seen is that 3-bar breakout. Could happen today, but it would need to be demonstrative. And after that 3-bar breakout, if you got a clear breakout, that maybe then kicks it in as an option play where something more is going to develop. And that's probably above 34 bucks. Yeah, maybe a stock play for right now. But hey, if that pops, it could be one where actually you look at the Fridays. Maybe gets above 34 by tomorrow, but then we'll see. I mean, with this, with what's going to happen tomorrow, Wednesday, things could change. But the signal's there, and that's again what we want to focus on. A couple more. I do want to show, at least on this platform, and we're on the TradingView platform. So if you're not familiar or you're new, please go to harmonictrader.com. Here, become a basic member and access through the basic members page, all that info. Listen, I'm going to be uploading more videos, kind of updating the library as well. So check that out. But over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to have more time to do so. And I think I'll do another event that'll be kind of a preference, introductory little, probably just like a 1 hour thing, not like a 4 hour thing. That will do more stuff like the option style trading and futures kind of stuff that I've been talking about in January. I'll get to that a bit more, but that's what I said in the seminar. I want to spend more time on that, on things that are happening like right now. I mean, the case in point is, okay, what's that 5-minute meta chart doing right now? 5-minute, go back to that really quick. Perfect type 2 Gartley with that counter HSI signal. So again, we're waiting for another bullish HSI because we got a bearish signal right there. Talked about that in between sessions on Saturday, but even if you were looking at the last HSI, it's checked back 1 and 2 bearish candles. What's going on there? Not triggering and still going lower. Again, even for today, I would look at that maybe around just under 113. Oh, the other one was NVIDIA. Before I get out of here, looks like that. Okay, alternate bat. This was from last week. And on a 5-minute chart, I would be looking at this if we get another HSI that trigger and roll over, and we literally just did about 3-4 minutes ago against that bat pattern. Keep an eye on that. Back down to 165. All right, that hasn't checked back on that secondary signal yet, but that's kind of a good example of looking for a secondary shot. I mean, here was, your first, the alternate bats are, pretty sloppy patterns, but there's a hop and there's an HSI. Sometimes it's just easy to think of it that way. Or there's the zone, where's the HSI? Well, right there. Here's a secondary shot. I mean, I'm talking like right now. You would still, on a 5-minute chart, maybe, come back towards the end of the hour on this. Let's see if we get a check back and then 2 agreement candles. Your XA number is 171.64. So you're kind of, if you're above that with the trigger at 172.48, you're in the ballpark, 172 area. We'll come back to that one. I think that's, that one on a short-term basis, and then and talking things that are like right now, Amazon on a daily chart. All right, still, as we're retesting, filling this gap, everything. I would I've said this last week, I would wait for a bullish breakout. This would have to bust out on a 3-bar breakout as an individual after, one single day before I would consider it on this retest. Same deal goes for Google. These are in a really nice structural spot, but look what Google did against this deep crab and continues to do. We talked about this Thursday, the perfect counter HSI signal. And when I say counter, I mean we're always looking for a bullish HSI at the pattern completion. Doesn't always happen. Doesn't mean that we can't take the trade, but we treat it like a reaction. And then when we let's say we react off the bullish pattern like this did, and then we flash into a bearish HSI signal. It's overbought HSI signal before target one. We respect that and just say, all right, that's it. It's probably going to take more time or retest the zone. That's what's going on here. Google trading 92.17 at the moment. Looking for this to either fill the gap at 88 or a hop retest at 84.79, depending on when HSI triggers out of the zone. Like there and out. Probably minimum 2-3 days. So that's all of that for this larger opportunity coming into the end of the year. I mean, amazing. Okay, Christmas is in 2 weeks. Take a look at the calendar. A week from Saturday. Okay, not even 2 weeks. Week from Saturday, Christmas Eve. However you celebrate it. A week from Sunday. Then the end of the year. The end of the year where we're going to start right off. Monday the 2nd, and that first full week will be, I think that's what people are anticipating as well. It's going to have a full week to kick off right at the beginning of the year. So I expect the next week or two to kind of ring out these losers that need to retest. Not surprised to see this thing dropping down, expanding into the oversold zone on Google, where we're looking at it, but I'm favoring more like 84 than 92. Laser D says he tried the 5-minute on Tesla today, got wrecked. And what was that? I'll pull that up. Did you have a pattern with it? Okay, that's the other thing. Did you hear? I'll ask you. I'll pull up Tesla. Someone's saying he did the 5-minute on Tesla and got wrecked. My question always would be, do you have some kind of pattern level with that? Let me know, because here's Tesla today, just regular hours. Let me throw on extended trading hours there, because I think it's important to have extended trading hours. But what? I don't know. You know what? Can you send me a screenshot? Because I don't see where you would take. Where's the pattern to take the a long opportunity? Pre-market was down pretty hard. I don't have an HSI on extended hours. I mean, regular trading hours. Looking at that, where is check back 1-2? We're at 173. Yeah. But was your stop tight? I mean, no more than 50-cent stop needed under the exact lows. And if you take a look at scalping, even, I think you're catching a big knife there. But even if you're played the second signal, that one worked out too. Where you go from like 170, 150, 170, 170 down to 170. Those are scalping opportunities for day trades. If I see something, let me just kind of scan through this. But if we get a little setup, I mean, Tesla might be setting up another possibility for like a 5-minute scalp on as a check back. But I would prefer to have a pattern. I mean, quite frankly, the meta opportunity, even though it doesn't have confirmation, as a 5-minute time frame is a better market to be looking for options. After that, you get confirmation, this type 2 on the Gartley. There you go. But I don't have confirmation yet. Here's Netflix. Take a look at Netflix, folks. I mean, this has been a real nice movement. Take a look at what the patterns are saying. Okay, last week was big bullish crab pattern. The hop at 307. I mean, it traded as low as 303, but where's confirmation? It's right at the low after the fact. And then this was at 327 last week. Don't know if I mentioned this or not, but take a look. 327.67 was the generated crab level. And everyone's life is going to get a lot easier when I automate the rules and get to at least serve up some kind of marker. But there's the check back. I mean, this is the type 1, perfect type 1 strategy where there's the sun icon, there's your check back, remember the line, and then 1, 2 candles. Now this generated a bullish signal thereafter, but you go into a tight stop loss. At that point, no follow through there. You want a pattern structure. I think that's the key, especially early on. It's been my intention to, you can apply it as like a scalping mechanism, but it's so much better when you're at a terminal bar, okay? Or if you have a back-to-back pattern situation where you're in a type 1 reaction to go to a type 2 return, so be it. Keep an eye on that one. What was the other one? Oh, okay, here's the big one I wanted to show from one of the big bearish examples that I want to look at right now. Bristol Myers. Okay, everything that we talked about, this is trying to break down. I said this is the thing to be looking for Monday, is a breakdown and close under 78.60. Okay, 786, huh? Funny. Because of, where's the weekly? It's a type 2. I mean, a real beautiful, the shark. Somebody refresh my memory. Wasn't this was a big type 2 of a crab pattern, I thought. I got to look at my slides. Here's, bring up some of the slides here. Yeah, Bristol Myers. I don't know why it's not coming up. It's, show you. Big type 2 crab that confirmed last week. So that's another one, BMY on the short side. Again, this is where you're looking for that 3-bar breakdown to get into the put position. Looking for puts. I mean, minimum levels, check back levels go to 76 or 75. Just to follow up. Really quick, let's jump over to some nat gas doing some amazing things. And remarkably volatile. I mean, just amazing. This triggered 2 days ago. And that low, the trigger bar, 57.70. The next day did not. It was 57.79. Never checked back. Even if I was going to assume something big was going to happen, amazingly, that's a big day up, but it's not a bullish candle. So plenty of time here, but I think this zone is really trying to hammer something out where I'll take it back. I said it. I've been going with 6 on the downside, 9 as resistance the whole time. And then last week I said, all right, let's throw that out the window. Let's say more like 466. I don't know. I don't think so. I think we could come back one more time to 560. Retest HSI one more time. So if that happens, over the next 2 or 3 weeks, it could be a massive trigger that sets off the shark and sets off everything else for the move back to $9. That's how big I think it is. So nat gas. And so that also helps UNG. There you go. $20. I mean, it's, I think plus or minus a buck or two at this point. Yeah, I don't want to miss out. I really think this is trying to set this up where even if I, in a perfect world, come back to 18 bucks, check back, and then take out. Just take it all out. Just go 26 or more. Keep an eye on it. Looked like it was going to fall apart, especially that Boyle. I know some people are still in Boyle. And this was as low as 25. Remember that bearish HSI? Okay, that was the thing where we said clear out, look for the retest, came all the way back down. Now, all right, let's blow up the zone and clear out all these lines. This is even closer now that if we were going to get a monster move on Boyle, you're close. I mean, maybe we come back. The $30 level has always been a massive number for Boyle. If we could check back pretty easily, wouldn't be too much of a thing for Boyle to do. Come back down to about 30 bucks and then go. Claire, I hear you. Claire says no, she wants it to go right now. But as we've learned, okay, you want that check back because that check back sets up the divergence. You want it. It looked great last week. I mean, or 3 weeks ago. And then last week it looked like absolute garbage. But it's giving you another chance. And again, you come back, if you can retest to set up the divergence to then set it off, you'd have more of an ideal setup. Kind of, it's almost like a mechanical spring it that gets it to 82, 83, and that is what we're looking for. This is where nat gas kind of finishes a major retest of some lows at under $6 and then goes. Take a look at a couple of these. The great LNG, of course. I'd say look at 150. If we can come back and retest that within this range, and because look at the weekly. Now, is this just going to be a pause? That's something with the HSI signal, folks, that, again, if it goes sideways and kind of duds out or does a couple of reactions and then just comes right back where, hey, this is a spot where it should do a reaction. But if it comes right back and just holds and goes sideways, it loses its kind of strength there. And no more than 2 shots. I mean, type 1, type 2 kind of logic behind it. So LNG, keep an eye on that. Here's the Pioneer Drilling, PXD. Yeah, look at this. Some big patterns here. Okay, where's HSI on the weekly for any of these going back down? So with a lot of the energy that are setting up, they need to trigger a bullish HSI. If this pattern was even going to fail eventually, I'd want it coming off of a signal, a bullish HSI like that did last time. A couple of more. You know what I haven't looked at the refiners in a long time. ConocoPhillips, take a look at this on a weekly. Like ExxonMobil and a few others, they just got overextended with big patterns towards the end of the year. I would look at this next weekly reading as an important spot for this short-term correction to end. Could be an opportunity. They're getting hit pretty hard right now. Yeah, that's a nice one even on the daily. The other one's Valero. Yeah. Nice butterfly, but it's a type 1. And again, some of these are getting oversold. That's trying to generate an HSI today. That would be a great type 2 return, maybe in 2-3 days. Set that up and then go next week into the end of the year. Possible. What's going on? EOG, Swooping Hawk says. Victoria is saying end of December, Boyle should go. I think it could. It's amazing how many times that thing has gone from basically 25 to 80 or 90 since we've started on it. And so let that be another lesson here, that with that at 25 or 30, when it gets to 80, we sell. Okay? We're not going to, don't sit on our hands. Hey, I did that the first trip on quite a bit of it. Not the second. Nice one on EOG. Who was that? Swooping Hawk? Swooping Hawk with the beautiful bearish shark on EOG Resources, turning into a 5-0 at 121.52. So I get asked this a lot of, when we have a shark and it goes to target one in a beautiful fashion like that, is that a 5-0? Yes. But is it a 5-0 trade? Not without HSI confirmation. I mean, take a look at the shark. Let's break down the shark confirmation in the +2 here. Here's Harmonic Strength Index. Pattern completes. There's your arrow. Come on, check back. Check back bar is right there. Now show me 2 bearish candles, 1 and 2. That's on EOG. And as we talked about, some of the things to think about of that being go time, literally on the close of the bar, is where you want to see it go serial. Bar over bar, continuation down, load up the options and go. Tight stop, the stop is just above the prior pivot, whatever that is. Keep an eye on that one. That's many like this. Here's the one. This was a 3 ideas, but I shared it with everybody recently. RCL, Royal Caribbean Cruise on, it's a type 2 deep crab. Where's HSI? Wait a minute. No, this was not it. Was this it? No, this wasn't it. Sorry. Caterpillar. I think I mentioned this earlier. Caterpillar on the weekly. Yeah. But where's the shark? Here it is. Sorry. It's above the hop. It's a crab pattern. So still early, but needs to check back. 2 weeks away. What's R-cell? Someone's asking for R-cell. I don't know what that is. Hey, fuel cell. Avita Medical. Don't know what that is. And probably better ones. All right, hey, not bad actually. I don't know what this is, and I would just maybe assume, hey, yeah, there's better ones, but that's legit. ABCDs at 635. That's what the software's kicking out. You do have a daily trigger. Look, there's HSI. The check back comes 2 days later, and then there's your +2 bar. So what should happen just off the HSI signal, you get at least a short-term continuation. And for how long? Like anything, just assume a 30 bar event horizon, if you want to call it that, where takes shape, registers, triggers, confirms, 30 bars out, 30 days kind of a thing. Can take time. Yeah, you know what? That's a great idea. Really quick, before I get on with it, I'll bring this over. I did want to look at a couple. I'll look at your pound yen, but I wanted to bring up dollar index. Take a look at dollar index. So I'm working with, this is the e-signal platform. These are the futures. And down at 105, this is a big deal where we don't have any kind of massive confirmation breakout just yet. But if 105.68 holds, or we break out above that, close above that, we could go into a type 1. 108.80. Be aware of that. This is a relatively new development. It looked like back in November that this thing was going to roll back right over. Hasn't confirmed anything on HSI. So anything that we've seen so far would just be a reaction. But you're setting up a pretty tight range coiling here where 105.50, 105.60 could get that going back to 108 as an official type 1. Keep an eye on that. And the other thing of the 2-year, 10-year. Here's 10-year. So this is, we've have a weekly pattern on this, and we had a daily pattern. Where'd you go? Hold on. There you go. Bat pattern. This is a big deal because this is trying to do a 3-bar breakout and a close above 359 today on the 10-year yield would set this at least into a reaction where our yield's going to spike back up, especially with tomorrow and Wednesday. It's pretty strong there. I don't want to see the market try to fight that. And if you recall, I mean, since rates, really market has only been able to rally because rates came off in late October. The other deal with rates, because we have patterns here, big patterns, that there's the bat pattern, weekly bat pattern that set up from, 2019, go back to 2018. So a sloppy above the hop, but you have an HSI signal. And you really don't want to see this go back above 366. You want to see the hop level, even though that's been sloppy, you want to see that start to really firm up. We could, in the short term, yeah, you're almost there, 366. But if it rallies, really starts moving above this 366 level, that would be a concern. Again, it's going to get hit this week. The interesting thing, some people asked me recently about this 2-year chart, and everyone's looking at the 2-year chart because that's short-term rates. There was a pattern there, But probably the most incredible thing is you have an all-time, well, not all-time, but you have this multi-year exact 1618 right at the top. I mean, it's like the day you hit it, and it was like 475. Yeah, right, right there. I would still think that sets in if that 1618 is a short-term level, you do something like that, a 382 move, but still early and blow it up. This should be rolling over. If that's a really sharp 1618, okay, that should be rolling over. And remember, this weekly has a beautiful weekly 2-year yield has a beautiful bearish HSI signal with a check back, and let's just walk through it. The +2. Okay, it's not, again, I would prefer a big pattern, but this is important evidence where there's the completion. Next bar you check back, one candle, two candles, one red candle, second red candle. That's how you count it. And then, follow through here. I would just look at it this way. Here, you got enough to say that anything underneath there would be a real big deal. And it doesn't even have to be that on the top side, even to be that high. Stop losses can be essentially anything above 470. All bets are off, but that's how close it is, and it's to the downside. Even with that bullish pattern, all of that, you're looking for this to roll over here. If not, and that's a failed signal, I would be surprised. But if that fails here, again, you're still, you got a long way to go. I think it's a rollover. I think with this weekly HSI where interest rates, it could take more time. Certainly, you could bump around here for 20 or 30 weeks. But you're looking for that to start to happen soon. Really quick, the UK oil chart, crude oil. I wanted to show this. There's some patterns down here on crude oil. This was, I showed this last week. Again, this is UK Brent crude. 74. It's a little bit different on the other light sweets, a little bit different, slightly different by several dollars. 74.42 on this, and HSI did not register. But you're close to a big level. So if crude oil is going to stabilize down here, you would need to see it really do a turnaround this week before the end of the year. Let's see here. What just happened? Market tried to pop. Really quick, before I jump to crypto, what's Meta doing in that 5-minute? Is that going? Looks like going for the hop. Yeah, not triggering. See, that's there you go. I mean, that's as valuable as almost as valuable as if it was an actual trade. Still waiting for HSI to trigger. It just keeps rolling over. Nowhere to be found. How about the other one was Caterpillar? Did that roll back over yet? No. That's a bat pattern here. Where'd it go? Sorry, I don't know where that is. All right, let's jump quickly. Crypto top 5. And I don't, I think this is just going to continue to grind into the end of the year. And really, who knows if January is going to be any change. but Ethereum still is number one. And let me bring that back here. 1225 folks for Ethereum. There you go. Nothing changes there. It was an HSI, checking back a secondary confirmation, all of that off the big pattern, off the, even if you didn't look at the little Gartley that we've been talking about all along, you could just simply treat Ethereum as a secondary confirmation of the initial completion from June and say, okay, that could be another trigger. The trigger was really 1100. Here you go. The Gartley, where's the Gartley? Here you go. Here's the Gartley. So even better because it's got both patterns. So the type 2 retest of the Gartley here, smaller pattern inside the bigger pattern, says this thing should go. I mean, there's no screwing around. So I said this before, if it rolls over, goes under 1225 again, your number one crypto is going to probably come all the way back down and eventually do some kind of hop retest, try to do some kind of secondary HSI back down in here, very likely. The way it's acting already is saying, hey, I don't have it right now. It's just not there. And take a look. You're rolling under the 50 level on Ethereum on the daily, and that's just begging to come back and give you a secondary retest, and I think that's somewhere at 1100, 1080, maybe even run back to the hop. Just the lackluster action, remarkable. I mean, really nothing there. Nothing there. I mean, I was looking at a chart on Ethereum a day or two ago where it barely moved $5 within a couple hours. Binance Coin, I think this got a long way to go. And I mean, probably ripe to go lower just because it's still hanging up there. But we know the numbers. 278, you just hit that. That was the minimum target we were talking about. I think 228 is probably structurally off the bat pattern, fits within, if we call it a pretty ugly type 1 and then a ugly type 2, because this is all manipulation in my opinion, but 228 is a likely objective off of that resistance. 330 to 228, yeah. So what's that do for crypto? Lower. Number 3, Bitcoin, 17,000. And I saw one of the crypto influencers literally had the audacity to post a chart of a 30-day chart of Bitcoin, and I mean, he posted it like this. It's almost comical if there weren't so many nerds that needed to be taken out back and taught a few things, because they've hurt so many people. But you know, they posted a chart and they drawed it like this, like BTC, and it just is. You know, you can make a chart look like anything, I suppose, but I think if we just take it back a couple more days, and then you get the real picture of like, all right, wait a minute, that's nothing, and this has done probably worse than nothing. It would almost be better if this was already going lower. The fact that this is just a dead, not even a dead cat bounce. It's just, this is a dead cat. Doesn't change anything though. Before the end of the year, you know, we're going to get under 15, and that's only 2 weeks away. That 11.8, January 11.8, I think is eventually going to have to come. Might take all of January, but 11.8. So, and we know what that is. All-time 886. Finish the cycle. Give me the 886. And the other thing to consider now, we would want to see a harmonic strength index signal bullish, as well as the check back and the 1-2, especially the 2. So you're really looking at it for harmonic strength index to do this kind of a thing over the next 6 weeks. It's down and basically finish it off. There's a couple of things here where you could say you could trace this out, this whole range as a bat or a shark or whatever. I think it all points back to the 886. So fun stuff. But that's where you are, and you're looking closer to the end now. 6 weeks. Number 4, Doge. And look what it did. Right on cue. Okay, went into the return phase on, you had your daily HSI check back. Remember that? Last week. Do we come all the way back down now to 7 cents? 7.5, I think it's a big number. Here's the 4-hour chart. That was the bat pattern. Kind of an extended move. Oh, that just came up. That shark just came up. Interesting. All right, so we have a shark. Hey, 8 cents on Doge. And it would be an official type 2. Looks like this. There's type 1, 1090, and we talked about that not too long ago. And now we're back down. 8.23 is the end of the official type 2, and that's really close to the hop level off the shark. 804. Let me see if I can find that. Where did that other... Hold on one second. Where is the... Let's see if I can find this other post. I wanted to share, I think I shared this with you guys before, the Doge posts. And just to get kind of perspective on how crazy that was, and then looking at the various patterns, the way that they set up, gives me perspective on what we need to see if this is going to signal any kind of major turnaround. Let me go back to here really quick. Let me see if I can find it. Come back to that. But 8 cents on Doge, you're getting close. You do have a HSI signal on the 4-hour. And still checking back right now. Go on the daily though. Daily is oversold on harmonic strength index, but you need to come out of the zone. So that's this week. I would say that happens this week. Another day or two down here. Go retest 8 cents and then pop out of the zone. That might be a good thing to do. So that was number 4. Number 5, we switched from Cosmos to Solana because we're going on death watch. And what we want to see with Solana, was a shark pattern here, crab pattern or shark? I think it's a crab. There you go. Deep crab pattern, but take a look. I do think this, with the deep crab, we could make a run to the hop level at 238. This is, this thing has been just going sideways, sliding lower ever since it peaked out back at 100. The most recent HSI that registered on Solana, again, is just like all the rest. They have a great pattern and a little bit of a pop, and then you have a counter HSI signal. That's what that is, right at 1410. I don't expect Solana to go above 1410 until at 12 or lower and retest and go all the way back down for another HSI oversold signal. Until you can do that, this thing just grinds lower. And is this the one that's going to stay afloat? So I just found this. Let me show you guys the Doge tweets. I'm going to put this in the chat. And then, let me see here. And then okay, here it is. Actually, this is the great, that's the feed. Check this out. Take a look at that. I'll post this in the Discord. Those are the Twitter, when we went on that crazy Twitter run. So, and I was looking at these tweets recently. It's from about a year ago, from last year. This is one of the big crypto that we were on with all the different patterns. Really made me think about what's going on in crypto in general and how many patterns we really need to see. And I think that's, with all the trading action that was going down in 2021, completely different than this year. You had so many setups, you had great volatility. You don't have that anymore. You've got price action like Solana that's just completely dud material, and Bitcoin too. So with all of crypto, I think that's, as we wrap up the year on crypto, we might be wrapping up just the whole wrap on crypto for a while until this thing can really shake out. Everyone's talking about maybe thinking about looking at the halving in 2024, but with this kind of price action, and you look at what most of them have done, any kind of pop has just been simple pop and roll. The rest of them, are they going to stay in business? And the poster child on that one is Cardano sitting at 30 cents. And even that one, depending on your data feed, registered, look, it got overbought. HSI is showing it's overbought here at 32 cents now. I mean, how does that happen when the price doesn't move? Because you go sideways and you let out, there's so much selling, okay, in here. There's, so much selling that was washed out that the reactive buying pressure it takes to generate another overbought condition doesn't take much. It's one of the things about HSI. It's got some relative metrics in it where it can detect where the relative resistance really is. It's down here. It's not up here. And the next set of support doesn't come in until we register on something like Cardano. Just not. For crypto to be constructive, it's not there. People that want to be a contrarian, I hear it, but it's not there. Yeah, absolutely. I think the mega stream today is like nothing compared to what we did Saturday. So let's, for crypto, probably most of the year, the rest of the year, I'm going to probably not touch it. I probably would maybe do a little glance once a week or once every other week, but I'm kind of going to retire it for now. I think our time can be better spent identifying short-term opportunities, option plays, queuing you in on things that are completing, stuff like that. That's kind of what I'm saying. And I know people are here, a lot of people are here for crypto, but outside of those few, I think it's a dead market. I'd rather look at opportunities of like Disney. Tell me when Disney triggers and sets up for a potential rebound off the bat pattern. I don't know why this isn't generating, but so that's what we're going to do. Yeah. I want to be about trading. I really want to be about viable trading markets. And that's not crypto now, and it won't be crypto until crypto can finish the down move. You just look at the hourly chart on Ethereum. It's practically a dead market, practically a dead market. Versus Disney, like, hey, that's not a flash market, but Disney is in a position here with a type 2 big pattern, confirmation, stabilization, a couple of green bars trying to go positive out of the zone. Where what would be exciting is playing some options back to target 1 or target 2. There's a whole bunch of these. One or two more of those that I wanted to highlight. Where go to the 5-minute. Let's go back to the 5-minute here on Meta. Wrap up today on that. There you go. Nope. Let's see what Tesla looks like. Under 170. But take a look at what happened with Tesla twice today, okay? Again, I would prefer patterns with a setup like this, but someone said they got killed on the long side early, but look at the second and third opportunity. This is a 5-minute chart. Check back, go, and check back and go. If you're scalping, say, daily options or weekly options, you're looking to basically be in and out of those pretty quickly, but that's a way to be looking for continuation moves. One thing with that is pop a VWAP up on there. Okay, I mentioned this a week or two ago. VWAP with HSI, I mean, the basic rule about VWAP is you're supposed to be selling continuation in a downtrend under VWAP or at VWAP retest. And conversely, in an uptrend, you're buying, you want to be buying the top end of it. So if you haven't done that, look at VWAP, and I started mentioning it because a lot of people use it. A lot of traders are looking at it. We bring in HSI with it. It's pretty clear that's a downtrend for the day. These little continuation signals can be really powerful. So look, it's going to be choppy, but pretty clear what needs to happen for a lot of these targets to get hit. In the meantime, I think it favors that day trading. If it's futures, if it's weekly options, daily options, SPY or QQQ, I think this is the time to do it. Crypto, we'll come back to it in January. Literally. Come back to January or even later. But let's look at stuff like this. Take a look at SPY and Qs, and then look at big patterns like, there you go, 5-minute SPY chart. Is that tradable? Any opportunity there, folks? If you're a 5-minute day trader on SPY, look at that bat pattern. Also, even for today, look at the 5-minute SPY little VWAP reversal. Now we have HSI as the check back mechanism. Okay, but you had everything you need there. Check back, 1, 2, go. Take a look at that material. Take a look at what we talked about today. I know we went through a lot, but just continuation from Saturday, and let's do more. Come on back on Tuesday, tomorrow, that is, 12 noon. And I think we should just spend the time on looking for 5-minute setups. And let's see if we can click some trades. How do you trade leverage with the SPY? I mean, depending on what your vehicle is, you could trade options. You could trade the micro, the mini, or the big one. Micro for small accounts, great. Mini, I trade the minis. I don't even trade the big one. I don't think you need to trade the big one unless you're that into it, or trade SPY options, QQQ options, because liquidity is pretty insane. But it's still all about the levels and being at the right spot as a day trader, which is all in the discipline. I say use the patterns, use the HSI strategies with pattern level, especially a hop level, pattern level, 5 minute, and use those targets as well. Let's talk more about that tomorrow. Okay, folks, if you want to get access to what we're doing, what we did on Saturday, okay, get on the Discord, and I'll set up a link where I'm going to create a couple of edited cut-ups of that, and I'll post that on the Discord, and maybe put it in the basic members library as well. But check out that information. Come on back. Thursday, we'll give away some more books and software. So have a great one. Until then, as always, go get them. Take care.